Asian Paints is a behemoth. In the decorative paint segment, they have a market share of 50%. That is insane. But of late, many companies have tried to slowly chip away at its dominance. Most notably, JSW Paints, who've been trying to make inroads in this market since 2019. For the uninitiated, JSW Paints is part of the $13 billion JSW Group. They made their money in steel and they've been foraying into other domains in a bid to diversify away from steel. But when they tried dabbling with paints a few years ago, they hit a roadblock: Asian Paints. They alleged that the company was trying to stall its growth and lodged a formal complaint with the Competition Commission of India, or the CCI. But wait, what exactly did Asian Paints do? Well, let's start from the top. The year is 2019. 3 years after announcing its intention to sell paints in India, JSW Group set aside 600 crore rupees to formally begin its expansion. It reaches out to paint dealers in Bengaluru and Hubli, which is a city in Karnataka. It sends its sales reps to explain the business, the special features, the incentives, and all of that. They even offer a unique selling proposition, or USP, something called Any Color One Price. Okay, so imagine going to a dealer and choosing a shade of paint. You will see thousands of options and hundreds of different quotes. It can all get very confusing very quickly. And since we are all value conscious, we'll probably pick up the cheaper alternative, even if we don't like the color. And JSW Paints wanted to change that. They wanted to offer the same price for all 1,800 shades. It even called the differential pricing strategy an injustice. Anyway, the dealers were convinced. JSW Paints began accepting advance payments from these dealers and promised to supply the paint soon enough. Now, here's the thing: the dealers were crucial to its success. They're the ones selling paint to end consumers. Even when JSW Paints tried fostering a relationship with some of these dealers, it seemed that they were met with resistance. Some even paid the advance and backed out of the agreement later. And this is when JSW Paints made the most extraordinary allegations. Allegation number one: Asian Paints armed twisted dealers. Asian Paints does have the most extensive dealer network, over 70,000 to be precise. And in theory, they could force their dealer network to act in a manner that excludes competition. And JSW alleged that the company did just that. They said Asian Paints stopped extending discounts, curbed loyalty trips, and delayed supplies to dealers who were willing to work with JSW. Allegation number two: they kicked you out if you didn't comply. JSW alleges that a dealer had their dealership ID revoked out of the blue since they were willing to partner with JSW Paints. In fact, they also contended that the dealer was asked to make a written submission to Asian Paints stating that they wouldn't deal with JSW Paints in the future. Only then did the supplies resume. Allegation number three: they even targeted warehouse operators. When a company signed an agreement with JSW Paints to operate a warehouse and stock their paints, Asian Paints allegedly stepped in to scuttle the deal. The company was asked to pick between Asian Paints and JSW, and it was alleged that the promoter eventually decided to walk out of the deal altogether. JSW believed that this little scuffle delayed their entry into Hubli. Allegation number four: the Balaji Traders charge. A Tamil Nadu based dealer, Sri Balaji Traders, alleged that Asian Paints removed essential tinting software that enabled the company to create critical shades of paint. They also argued that they were demoted from being a critical partner. And on the face of it, all this looks pretty bad for Asian Paints, right? I mean, they're a market leader and they're seemingly preventing competition from establishing their foothold. This could have a detrimental impact on consumers who may never have the option of buying JSW paints. So the Competition Commission of India had to intervene and investigate the matter. But what they found may surprise you. Number one, the Director General found that JSW Paints was dealing with about 1,591 dealers, and 86% of these dealers also worked with Asian Paints. So if it were a systemic issue, shouldn't more dealers have stopped working with Asian Paints? Number two, they also found that Asian Paints, the market leader, was able to add 1,217 dealers during 2020 and 2021. But JSW managed to add 1,591 during the same period. So the exclusionary tactics didn't seem to have had a massive impact on JSW's expansion plans. Number 3, a higher percentage of dealers discontinued their relationship with Asian Paints when compared to JSW in relation to the net additions they made. Number 4, only 15 dealers out of the 1,378 allegedly common dealers came forward and leveled allegations against Asian Paints, and none of them could substantiate their claims by offering evidence. Meanwhile, Asian Paints seem to have offered considerably evidentiary support to explain their decisions, including the alleged mistreatment. Number 5, the warehouse problem in Hubli, remember that? Well, it seems that there were other logical disputes between the warehouse owner and JSW Paints. Number 6, and Balaji Traders? Well, their critical retailer status was downgraded in April 2021 and not Feb 2021 as claimed. Number 7, the commission also noted that JSW Paints may have coerced some of the dealers to include written statements about Asian Paints' exclusionary tactics. So, yes, while it's entirely possible that sales folks within Asian Paints' rank and file may have acted improperly in some cases, the CCI did not find convincing evidence of any wrongdoing at a systemic level. In fact, they offered Asian Paints a clean chit. But JSW Paints doesn't seem to be in any mood to relent. Even though the CCI didn't find any evidence of wrongdoing, they did concede that Asian Paints was a dominant player. So JSW believes that dealers don't want to speak up, since it could invite swift retribution from the dominant player. They may even be looking to take the matter to the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, or the NCLAT. So yes, we will just have to wait and watch how this battle turns out. Thank you for listening to today's episode.